Hello again, it's Rebecca. I'm actually very happy because the roofers came to fix the leak in our roof. And I'm so happy about that. But so I had to stop to let them in and show them the leak and everything. So I'm just gonna keep on going for a few more minutes to show you the rest of the work in Photoshop that we're doing. So the cleanup work. Okay. All right. So here we are. And what we want to do is create a somewhat more contrasty version of the artwork without losing any of the detail. That's the goal. And usually what I do is I just duplicate my layers and save the old layer in case I make a mistake, because I am extremely paranoid about these things. So we're just going to hide those for now and work on this one. And being as this is just a black and white image, we don't need to go too crazy with curves. So I'm just going to use levels, and that is Command L. And all that means is I'm going to bring up this slider to this bump. That's the black. So I'm going to make the blacks black. And then I'm going to bring down this slider here to get rid of the lightest lights. And that gives me a very nice black and white image, which is pretty contrasty. There might be a few things to clean up, but I don't want to go too crazy in blowing out the whites, because that will impoverish my lines of their quality, their handmade quality. It'll like cut off the trailing ends of the marks and things like that. We don't want that. Want it to look like I drew it. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with this one. This scan actually came out a little lighter, so I didn't make a note of the settings that I used in levels for the last one. It's fairly simple anyway. I'm just responding to the image itself. So again, I'm just going to pull this up to just before the height of that bump, and then pull out these whites like that. And okay. Oh, no, wait. I did the wrong one. I'm supposed to be doing this layer. Okay, let's try that again. Yes, this one is different. I was just testing you. All righty. So now, now I have not made a copy of that, have I? That was very bad of me, but I'm going to live with it. So now what I want to do is I want to get rid of this bottom area of the top layer so that I can not have that dark band there at the bottom. You can see that where it went off the edge of the scanning bed, that glass screen, it kind of went dark and also got a little bit distorted. So I'm just going to select that whole thing and delete it. And then the next thing I want to do is match these up really well, because you can see that it's still a little bit off. And what I usually do in order to match things up, if they are overlapping, is I use difference. And that shows me the difference between the two areas. And there might be a little bit of a difference in angle because of the fact that these are hand placed and not kind of locked into the corner. So I might need to rotate this just a bit to get it to fit right. And that involves kind of nudging and tweaking and seeing, you know, if I can get it to be right. I'm going to go back to normal and just check it. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I need to rotate it clockwise, or which one should I rotate? That's the other one you have to decide. I kind of like the angle of the top one. Let me rotate the bottom one. So I'm going to put this on difference so I can see the difference. And then I'm going to rotate the bottom layer because I want it to align with the top layer, not the other way around. So let's try that. So I'm trying to get it to look like they're the same angle and then to sort of nudge it to where they match up pretty well. It's not brain surgery because this is a line drawing. And so they don't actually have to be, you know, there's not a lot of subtlety to it. But as you can see, it matches up fairly well. So I'm just using the arrow keys at this moment. I'm in the selection tool here, the object selection tool, and I'm just going to check and see how good my tweaking is. The rotation is a little bit off, so I'm going to go back over here and try it again. See if I can get it to fit just a little bit better. Yeah. That's pretty close. Let's call it a match. So I'll put this back to normal and let's see what it looks like. I'm going to hide this. It's pretty close. All right, so now we have to fix any little weird things. And one of the weird things is that it's lighter up here than it is down there. So the edges of this one are a little bit darker. And we can fix that pretty easily using our Photoshop tools. I'm going to use my magic wand tool. And let's see, the tolerance is 60A. We're going to not make it not contiguous. We're going to select the darkest gray we can find. And I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. And boy, that selected everything that was not black, which is pretty cool, because now what I can do is I can contract this by about 5 pixels. And that keeps it away from my lines. And then I can go to my levels and I can just blow it out like that. And that's all white. Okay, and now what? Oh, we need to do the same thing up here then. So let's try the same thing up here. We're gonna, so by saying not contiguous, that means it's gonna select everything that's the same color. And then again, we're gonna just go to select, contract. This keeps it from blowing out parts of my lines. So we'll contract it by 5 pixels and blow it out. And now all we have left is this little line here, which is very easy to deal with. We can just take some white, and just paint on top of anything that we don't like. These little lines, the edges. sure there's other ways to do this, maybe better ones. Oh, and that one that layer that I didn't copy, I was forgetting that there's another one at the bottom. So not a big deal. That gets rid of all that. And anything else. I believe that there was a schmutz right up here. So I'm going to get that schmutz. See that? I made a mistake when I was doing the inking, and I can just clean that too. And I'm doing all this on a separate layer so that I have total deniability. Now, as you can see, there is some irregularity to these lines. They're not super dense. And that's just a normal line in, pen and ink that sometimes, isn't totally black. If I want those to be totally black, I could do that in Photoshop, but I don't care, actually. Just getting this like that. And there's a little bit of a shadowing effect around some of the lines that I'm not so happy about. And that came from withdrawing, from contracting and then blowing it out. So I can fix that pretty easily in the end. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge the layers that I've got. So I'm going to go merge visible and command, oh, wait a minute, before I do that, let me just create a full layer of white to combine with it. All right, so now I'm going to merge all the visible layers, copy, Command A, Command C, and then I'm going to go back in time to before I merged, and I'm going to paste that composited layer on the top. So now I have all these layers with everything I've ever done in them, and that's paranoia for you. But you will, so I'm making this, by the way, this is a TIFF file, making it uncompressed, and TIFFs can hold all of these layers. Okay. And basically, that's it. You can flatten it and then save it. Now I've got the roofers coming again, so I'm going to end this and we can talk about it some more. Thank you very much. And this is the end of the demo.